take note of the minister's response to the requirement that he offer an explanation. And it wasn't really an explanation. What it was a summary of the government's complaints that the opposition seek transparency on the activities of this executive government. And of course, that's what we're here to do. We're here to get to the bottom of things because ultimately we have two main jobs. We have to try and hold the government to account on its expenditure of public funds and in relation to its administration of programs, because that is the job that the Australian people would expect us to do on their behalf. And so it doesn't surprise me that the same government that wants to gut the FOI Act to ensure that Australians can't understand the inner workings of their own government is having a massive sook about the opposition seeking documents. And what are the documents we're seeking? The documents we are seeking go to the appointment of an observer to the board of Housing Australia. Now, Housing Australia would be one of the greatest boondoggles in the history of the Federation, a $10 billion scheme that's been going for 2 years that couldn't build a dunny. And what it has done is it has purchased houses that Australians could actually acquire themselves. That's what it's done. And this hugely expensive bureaucracy has had an observer appointed to it. So you have a board full of political hacks and losers that are there to spend the taxpayers' funds that can't be trusted by the government. So the government appoint all the dead people from Victoria who've been running that dead government down there for years and years, running the poor old people of Victoria into the ground. They're all on the board of this fund. And then they've got someone from Treasury appointed by this minister who goes to the board meetings. And not only do they go to the board meetings, they speak in the board meetings. So they're privy to the financial judgments. And then when we look at the outworkings of the tenders from Housing Australia, who are the greatest beneficiaries? It is the Labor Party's best friends, the super funds and the union-aligned bodies that are getting billions of taxpayer funds. This is a very expensive way to build houses. It may be the case that it's much better for the government to build public housing. But no, they've decided to go down the route of having this hybrid model where they have to pay off all their mates, all their spivs and crooks. And so we're asking questions about what's going on down there. We want to know why the government have appointed an observer to the board of Housing Australia. Who is this person? Why have they been appointed? What are they doing? What is their term of appointment? What can they do in the board meetings? What can they not do? What should they recuse themselves from? We're talking about $10 billion. Billions have been promised. In some cases, we're looking at dwellings costing the taxpayer $1.3 million. Now, the average cost for a new dwelling in this country is $500,000. $500,000. But the taxpayer is being asked to cough up $1.3 million. So these are reasonable questions. The minister can whinge and cry his crocodile tears about the opposition seeking answers. But ultimately, and use his stupid fishing metaphors, I mean, what he should be doing is asking his mates at the super funds why they are funding Vladimir Putin's war against Ukraine, why the Minister Wong isn't looking after the sanctions, why we are as a country allowing these financial institutions to undermine our own sanctions. Instead, what we hear are fishing boats which are apparently trawling for information as if this is some mission which has no destination. The destination that we are seeking to get to is to uncover the paperwork which underpins the appointment of the observer to the board of Housing Australia. That's all we want to know. Now, we tried to get these documents back in October, and we received a letter from the minister saying it's going to take some time because we're down in the bowels of Treasury, digging around. We've got the torches on the hats and everything, trying to find the pieces of paper. Now here we are at the arse end of the back end of November, I should say, and we still don't have the paperwork. So we wait with bated breath, but I don't think it's a bad thing that we're trying to get to the bottom of things.